Hello, friends, students, and enthusiasts. Welcome back once again. So, in today's video, will be discussing more about selection of the board for your IoT projects. In this, I will just guide you on which will be the best IoT board for you, and depending on that, knowing the specification and small problems on the board, what are the parts on the board, that's we are going to see. That is the hardware on the board. This we are going to see. Okay, so ESP8266 versus ESP32, choosing the right board for your IoT project. What is the difference between ESP8266 and ESP32? That you have to understand. So ESP32 development board, as you can see, I have just kept this board here. On the corner, you can see this is ESP8266 and this is ESP32. It is very similar board, okay? Even this is also ESP8266. I will just explain you what is the difference. It looks very similar, but there is a difference. Okay. So development board ESP32 and ESP82 development board. So powerful in ESP32, powerful dual core processor, whereas this one, that is ESP8266, is only single core. Okay. So ESP232 is better if you're taking core into consideration. Integrated Wi-Fi and Bluetooth, making them ideal for advanced connectivity. Okay, reliable Wi-Fi in the case of 826, reliable Wi-Fi capabilities ideal for creating connectivity. ESP8266 doesn't have Bluetooth connectivity; it only has a Wi-Fi. Whereas ESP32 has Wi-Fi as well as Bluetooth. Okay. Other comparison is ESP32 has versatile with a wide range of GPIO pins. Number of pins are more and versatile, and supports the external sensor and modules. In the case of 8266, it is very energy efficient, ensuring long-lasting performance in low power setup also. That is, it consumes less power. Extensive library support, that is, I'm talking about ESP32, extensive library support, simplifying development with tools like Arduino IDE and ESP-ITF. Okay, right. But in the case of 826, a beginner-friendly design with abundant resources and community support. The main difference between these two is ESP32 is more performance-wise, more better. You can write the program in two languages, that is C++ and MicroPython also. In 8266, performance-wise, it is very good compared to this, but you don't have Bluetooth in this. And the clock speed is also lesser. That I will show you. I will give you idea little later. Okay, right. Now, before you kind of power on your ESP board, things to remember before you buy on and you just wanted to connect it to your computer or to start with the project, what you have to remember. Correct voltage should be there. That is, this board 3.3 logic, you should not give 5-volt supply. Okay. USB to UART driver installations. You have to see that the driver should be there, which will drive the board. Okay. If it is not there, your board will not work. Using a stable power source, that is no fluctuation. Sometimes it is coming 3 volts, sometimes it's going to 4 volts and 5 volts and all. This will not work. Okay. The constant power supply should be there. The second essential precaution before wiring the sensors to ESP board, what you have to do is avoid 5-volt signal directly on GPIOs. So you have a GPIO pins. These are the GPIO pins on the side. These are all GPIO pins on the side. So directly you see that the 5-volt should not go. I have to either balance it or you have to put a voltage divider there, right? In the case of a sensors, use voltage divider for analog sensors. Don't draw too much current from the GPIO pins. Okay, there is a limited resource, current output will be there, so you don't have to connect relays or coil sort of this thing for all the ports. Please remember that. Okay, so this is the points what you have to remember. Now next is special variant for ESP32. Special variants you didn't know about. That is, you should have idea what are the new boards in the market, that you have to get the idea. Like ESP32C3, it is a RISC-V processor, right, with the Wi-Fi plus BLE support. Okay, same as ESP32S2 USB support, only USB support is there. ESP32S3, it is AI and camera support. So when you select the number, the sub number C3, S2, S3, you should remember what is your project and why you are selecting that. Why ESP is still popular in 2025? Mainly, it is low cost, power efficiency. These 2 points you have to remember. Low cost and power efficiency when it comes to 8266. Perfect for simple IoT nodes or projects. Okay, now let's go to the lab and I will show you, I will give you the details about these boards. Complete idea, what are the boards like? Okay, so this board will take first. Before that, I will tell you about this board also. Okay, this is the beginning, it came in the beginning. This is also ESP8266. How you will tell ESP8266? Please remember this IC where I'm touching this thing. This is the IC ESP8266 microcontroller. Okay, this is microcontroller. And adjacent to it, you can see an 8-pin chip. Okay, this is a SoC chip. Please remember this is a SoC chip, and this board has the connection, and this is the antenna, onboard antenna. We call it as an onboard antenna. This is exact type of this thing will be there. So this is the main chip, microcontroller with Wi-Fi. All right. So this one, this is nothing but it's a flash memory. Okay. So memory is adjacent to that. Okay. So here also this is 8266. And this is what this one, you can see a small part here. This is your crystal oscillator of the or clock pulse generator. We call it of 26 megahertz. Okay, in this case, this thing, both the things what we have seen here, this will be there inside. This is ESP8266, or we call it a node MCU or V1 board. Okay, or sometimes we also call it as a ESP12 also. Okay, so ESP has different model 1, 7, 8 and 12. Okay, so all these things, both the IC, it will be inside the crystal, the microcontroller and the flash memory. It will be there inside this steel jacket. Okay, outside. So what is there inside? What you can see outside? One is antenna, that is external antenna, and you have one regulator. Okay, this is the regulator, that is 3.35 volt to 3.3 volts converter. Okay, now this is one more IC. This IC is FTDI sort of IC, which will be able to connect from this connector to the microcontroller with help. Okay, so this IC is very important. You have two transistors also and few diodes and electrolytic capacitor. Of course, there are two switches also. One is flash switch and one is reset switch. Okay, so these are the GPIO pins on both the side, and this can work with the power of USB, or data can be transferred, or the codes can be transferred through your computer with the help of this ESP32. Okay, same thing. The IC as well as the flash memory will be inside this jacket. Outside, again, the same thing. When you are connecting to the controller, it will be through this regulator and other capacitors and this thing. You have LEDs also. You have LED, 2 LEDs will be present here. In this case, also you have power LED also here. Okay. Here one power LED is there. One more transmission RX and TX LED will be on this side. This is ESP8266 and this is ESP32. Okay, right. Okay, this is more powerful. As you can see, this has more number of pins. Okay, and the speed. This is little lesser. We said this is 26 megahertz clock. Here we are using a 32 megahertz clock. Okay, 32 megahertz. Actually, when we see, it can go up to 240 megahertz, the frequency, the working of ESP32. Whereas this will go only up to 160 megahertz, 80 to 160 megahertz. So that is the main difference. So this is more powerful. Okay. So I told you about the parts now. Now we'll discuss what are the things happen. One more thing I will tell you about this thing. This is also ESP32 CAM. The only thing is you have a CAM attached to it. So CAM related project, you can use ESP32 CAM. Okay, like heat sensors, intruder monitoring, live video streaming. So this type of project you can use with this. Only communication you can use this. More bigger this thing, you can use ESP32. Smaller, you can use Node MCU or this thing. Right. So usually what happens, what you have to keep it in mind while giving connection to this, there is a V in, you should not cross more than 5.5 volts here. Okay. Ground should be connected properly. 3.3 volts ground. If it is lesser current to your sensors, then only you provide it. And while giving the connection, you see that it should not cross more than 3.3, 4 or 5 volts. If it is continuously 5 volts goes to this GPIO pin, it will become this IC gets loaded or this thing gets loaded. Now, if the board gets short, this part, that is this regulator part, here also, this regulator part. In this also, you have a regulator. I will just tell you about where is the regulator. Okay, so regulator is here. This you can see on the other side, a regulator. I have a memory flash. This is the IC, and this side is the camera part. Okay, so please remember that. But here you can see in this case, you don't have the connector. In this we have connector. In this also we have connector. Okay, but in both the cases, this two we don't have. So we have to use an FTDI connector. That means connector where this will be connected or this can be connected and it can be programmed. This is called as FTDI connector. We will use it can be of different size and shape that you have to choose it. Okay, so we were discussing about what happens if something goes wrong. This chances of this IC which is there inside, that means this and this two ICs. The chances of this IC getting bad is very, very less. This may go wrong. Okay, this two transistor, that is for controlling this your GPIO pins, this two transistor and this regulator, that is 3.3 volts regulator. Here also 3.3 volt regulator. Here also 3.3 volt regulator. Just now I've shown you. So that may go little wrong. Okay, be careful. You should not connect more supply or less supply to the USB pin as well as to the GPIO pins. So these are the points which you have to remember. Please remember. So when you choose for IoT project, please remember this is cheaper, less clock. This is where you use a camera. This is only for communication, very cheap. It is in India, it is 100 less than 100 rupees. Okay. This one is a bit costly. That is little more, but the facilities are more. The clock speed is more. And for IoT, mainly the bigger IoT projects and all, this device is used more. Okay, so this has what the Bluetooth also. I told you that there are different numbers. Numbers means what? S2, S3, C3, C6, and H also. Right. So depending upon that, H stands for Zigbee, right? Zigbee also is added at this thing. C6 will work on Wi-Fi, BLE 5.3, and Zigbee also. Okay, C3 is RISC V-based processor, and S3 has BLE 5.0. Okay, so these are the things which you have to remember. Different models you will get, mini, micro, zero size, different sizes you will get, but you have to choose which is the best. So I suggest most of the time you can use ESP32. Okay, ESP32 is the best one. Okay, so what is this? I told you this is serial flash memory. This is only 1024 kilobytes of memory will be there. That is more than enough. Here also you have little more kilobytes of memory that you can check with your data sheet. So that is why data sheet is very, very important. You should all study about the data sheet before using all these boards. You should all know about the data sheet. Okay, so why? Because data sheet will tell you about the complete things. What is the supply voltage? What is the flash RAM? What is what type of this thing is there? Okay, one more final thing I would like to tell you. These boards are made by different companies. Specifically, this one, that is originally this is SoC chip made by SP systems. Okay, 8266 is made by SP system, whereas this board is originally made by Extensa. Okay, this is made by a Chinese company and this is made by some other company. But of course, RAM, flash, and model numbers that you have to keep it in mind What are the different companies which make this board? VMOS, Adafruit, a specific AI Thinker. Like what different companies are there though design this board. But please remember the microcontroller or the Wi-Fi system will be the same. That's why ESP8266 and ESP32 are popular for this thing. I hope you understood few of the points what you have got. I just gave you a little idea about the boards. I hope you will like it. If you like it, please like and share to my channel so that I can make good videos and knowledgeable videos for all of you. Thank you. Thank you for watching.